Hello, this is Stampy Longnose, and welcome to the second of my original mazes. And this one's slightly different. I originally planned these three mazes, counting as if the last one was the first, as like a trilogy of mazes. We have a mall and sandbox, one being on the bottom floor, this one being in the middle, and then the last one being on the top. And you kind of end up at the section above at the end of each one. But this one's different. This one's built as a multiplayer maze, and it's actually as a race. And it is literally, it's not so much puzzles, so much as it is like actually literally a maze. It's basically just lots of turns, and there's a few hidden secrets hidden throughout the maze. But it's basically you got to make your you got to make your way to the middle. You got to make your way to the middle of the maze, and then you win basically. And so this is it's kind of intended for a few people, and they're sort of you're trying to work out. You might try and help each other and stuff. And this is basically where you got to go. I kind of like the fact having windows so you can see where you're trying to get to, and they will try and work their way around, trying to think, oh, it's on this side, and then they'll get taken to somewhere completely different or a dead end, as I just got taken to. And there's also a light which hovers above the middle of the map. So if people literally they can't solve it, they're getting annoyed, everyone else has solved it, and at the end of the map you can say, all right, basically just look under the light, and you'll be able to work out where it is. And so this is a pretty simple one. I mean, I built this maze in probably about an hour and a half or something. It is basically just blocks plunked down. And I don't really spend as much time making it as neat as I would on other maps, like a multiplayer map, because that needs to be smooth. If you're having a ramp, you don't want any bumps in case people are bouncing grenades off it and that. But on something like this, it doesn't really matter all that much. It's kind of, as long as they can walk around it. I mean, to make it look nicer, I suppose you do kind of have to put a bit more effort into it, but for something like this, it doesn't really matter. And I'm not 100% of how to get to the exit. I think it was near where I was, but I just want to show you another section quickly. See, that's where you're trying to get to. It kind of looks like a stick man. That wasn't intended. I only just realised that. And there are a few like pickups you can get throughout the maze, and I think there's one in here. Yeah, this is basically a speed up, which makes you run quicker, which can be pretty useful because I think you walk slightly slower than you normally would on this. And you see I've also got the overshield. That's just because even though you can't team kill, if people do set themselves to win other teams, they can't kill each other at all. And just got the pistol just because you don't really need anything else. I think there's a window in this section which allows you to sort of look over the map. No, maybe not. Alright, let me just get to the end. I think you've got to drop down here. Yeah, here's this where you can kind of look over the map. Very labyrinth style maze. This is where you drop down, and this is that hole that we saw earlier. I kind of made it look easy, but people have been stuck quite a while. I mean, people won't generally take more than 5 minutes completing it, but people will lose attention if they've got to spend any longer than that. And there is a kind of a mini puzzle as you get to the bottom. You can see this is that room that I was in earlier where I managed to get the custom pickup. And it's basically oh my god, that's awfully built, isn't it? Guess I just didn't care. It's basically you've got to choose which teleporter do you want to go through. And some take you back up to the maze. I think some take you to some secret areas. But it's basically you want to go through that one. And there's no real set way of knowing. I mean, I chose it. There's the only one which isn't a custom pickup. So it kind of stands out because it's a light. And it's also the blue light which showed you where the middle of the map is. It's also the same kind of blue light, so it's probably pretty obvious that it's this one, but some people might just land and run straight into the wrong one, and then, yeah, that's technically their fault. I'll just show you, this is what happens when you get to the top of the map. It's not a proper fun room like the others. Oh no, there's this hidden bit. They can get up here and they get the sniper rifle. They can shoot down on other people running around the maze, but they generally won't know what to do, and they might drop down the side, which means that they have to go through a teleporter down there to get back in the map. But what you've actually got to do, if you just walk forwards, boom, invisible teleporter. And you can't make teleporters invisible, but that's the teleporter which is only visible in Forge World, and is the one that you would normally use to get up here anyway. So I kind of just incorporated that into the map as another small puzzle. And you've got to walk to the end of this long walkway, which is quite scary. If you spend all this time trying to get up to the top, you really don't want to fall down about now. And when there's about 3 or 4 people up here, I think there's a rocket launcher and some hammers, and it gets very tempting to start knocking your teammates off the map. But basically once you're up here, you can use it to grief the people that are down low although you can't kill them, you can fire rockets at them to kind of annoy them, or fire lasers at them. Or if you're feeling generous, you can sort of give them some directions. You can see at the top, you can kind of work out how you got to get to the end, and you can kind of tell them where to go. Anyway, that brings me to the end of this map. Click the link in the description if you want to see my third maze, which is going to be built up here in the sky area of the map. That's me done for this video. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you later.